Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the lovely World of Raccoons. I'm so glad that you're able to stop by, but if you have been here before, then allow me to welcome you back once more. I hope that you can forgive the morning voice that I have going on. I may have woken up early today, but I am not fully awake quite yet. So we're standing here where I stood when season 2 for this series first started, and that is because, well, although in the previous episode I had stated that I wanted to wrap things up over at the fantasy style village, which we pretty much have at this point, and I wanted to move on to the next project, well, the next transformation project I should say, which is transforming a stronghold. I at least want to do some work here at spawn in creating various farms. Now I don't mean wheat farms, potato farms, carrot farms, anything like that. I want this to be my industrial area. This is where we're going to set up a few iron farms along with a spider farm, because if we just quickly run across this field right here without falling into that little hole, again I should say, since we already did it, but right where this torch is at, if we dig down a bit, we're going to come across a spider spawner, and I would like to make some type of a farm out of it, but I'm not entirely sure exactly how I would go about creating a spider farm. So at this point now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to begin to work on the first farm, and that's going to be a cactus sugarcane farm, and the design comes from fellow Lake Laogan server mate Noobs. If you haven't done so already, then I encourage you to go check out his video where he shows off and explains how the farm works, and believe it or not, the noob even goes and shows you how to build it. It was so simple. It's such a simple design that even I, a raccoon of the vanilla variety, am able to figure it out and see how it works and recreate it myself. So let me go ahead and gather up all the resources that I'm going to need, and I'm going to begin to get my build on, and I'll see you guys in a moment. Somebody should call up Wintergrave and let him know that a certain raccoon of the vanilla variety is slowly but surely starting to build his own plant. For those of you who don't know, Wintergrave over on the Lake Laogai Vanilla SMP is doing just that, where his base is pretty much every type of farm for anything and everything you could ever think of in Minecraft. But let's go ahead and take a look at the dimensions of this farm. Now, I'm going to say this right up front, I'm not going to attempt to explain how this works, only because, one, I really do think you guys should go check out the Noobs' video. Through the power of YouTube cards, one will be appearing at the top right corner of your screen right now, which will take you to that video so you can check it out yourself. And two, I would like to save myself the embarrassment in trying to explain something that involves redstone. I may understand it, but when it comes to repeating it for you all to understand, so let's go ahead and take a look at the dimensions, excluding the walls. That's only taking into consideration the blocks that make up the width of this wall right here. The width for this wall, I should say. It's only going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks. However, if we were to include the corners, you would just have to take 7 plus 2, do the math. I can do that on my fingers. That's a total of 9 blocks. Now, for the length of this build, it's going to be, again, excluding the walls, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But if we were to include the walls, then that would be 11. So that's going to be 9 blocks in width and 11 blocks in length. Now, as you can see here, the walls go up in a total of 3. However, what you may not be able to see is that this actually goes down into the ground, at least with how I built this. Nevertheless though, this will pretty much be 4 blocks in height, and that's only counting the walls along with the base of this build. And the reason why I say that is because right here we have a chest which we will be able to have complete access to, because we have a transparent glass block on top of it, and right here we have just one little pixel missing from the paved grass block, so therefore I'm able to actually open it. But if you can't see, then right behind this chest we do have a hooper hopper that will collect all the dropped items from that one water source right there that's flowing towards us, and it will just shoot it into the chest. Now if we go ahead and take some scaffolding blocks, boy, you know, with 1.12 on the horizon, I can't help but think, like, what would I like to see in a future Minecraft update? Definitely would like to see more slabs and stairs, obviously, but a scaffolding block, that would be pretty nice to see. Let me know what you guys would like to see in the comments down below from a future Minecraft update that may be builders based. But going back to reviewing this build right here. So for the wall on the far right side, as you can tell, we only have water flowing towards the left, and that's where the water sources are at. So that way then any drops that come from this farm, when it activates, will then just push it down into the single water source that we have going from the back left corner into the hooper hopper that leads into the chest. Now right up here is where we have the magic happening. On this side of the observer block with the sticky piston on the back side of it, we have our reeds, and then on this side right here, this is where the cacti will grow, and then boom, everything will just drop down, flow into this little channel right here, and again, for the umpteenth time, before I repeat myself again, it'll flow into the hooper hopper, which will push them all into the chest. Now at this point, what I would like to do next in regards to the farm / industrial area that we're establishing here is I want to actually take a look at the spider spawner that we have just down there, but I'm not quite ready to go down there, and that's only because, one, I still want to figure out what type of spider farm that I would like to make, and also I'd also like to think about what it is that I want to gather from it. Well, at this point in time, I have a rough idea as to how I would like to create this spider farm. But while we go ahead and begin to build it, I'd like to just take this time to talk to you all about why I'm going to create it. So the first reason is because I've recently downloaded and installed Exuma's More Mob Heads, custom loots. And for those of you who do not know what that is, essentially, when you kill a mob, there is a chance where you can get its head as a mob drop. But keeping in mind that players will create various farms for any type of mob in this game, the chances of actually obtaining its head as a mob drop are fairly slim. So hopefully this will help us in adding to our collection the spider head. Now another reason why I want to create this farm is so that when the world download becomes available, you'll be able to have a place to quickly go to, do some killing of the 8-legged freaks here, and then obtain some experience, and then do some enchanting. So then you'll be ready to go out into the world and get your build on, whether it's going off doing your own thing, or maybe even helping me out and completing anything that I may have left unfinished. So what I'm doing right here is I'm just creating a small little chamber where, actually, hold on a second, 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So the idea is that going away from the spawner in all directions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, we're gonna have it going 4 out. So then it's going to be in total 9 blocks in length, 9 blocks in width, and then we're gonna keep the ceiling fairly low. And that's only because, well, this is going to be a spider farm, so there's no sense in letting it have a high ceiling. So we're just going to remove this layer of the cobblestone right here, and then once we've done this, we're going to then take our cobblestone and fill up this portion of the ceiling, so that from this point right here where the cage is at, we're going to have it go 3 blocks in height, and then actually, you know what? No, what we want to do is remove all of this entirely. I was thinking for a moment that I wanted to go from the I wanted to go from the floor that we're walking on 3 blocks up. But no, it's actually the cage. So right where we have the top sign on the top log, that is how high we want to raise the ceiling. Now, I'm not going to do all of this on camera with you all. I'm just going to spare you, but I wanted to at least give you all a rough idea as to what I'm doing here. But next up, what we're going to do is we're going to dig 3 blocks deep, and this is going to be around the whole area right here. So progress has been made, and as you can tell, on the 3rd block up from the ground floor, we have signs wrapping around all 4 walls. And then right here we have a bunch of signs that are placed, and no, they are not placed for the heck of it. They actually serve a purpose. So what we are going to be doing once we have finished the overall farm itself is right here in each of these corners, just right beneath the sign on the 2nd block space up from the ground floor, is where we're going to be placing a water source. So then in each corner it will have the spiders flowing dead center right here. And then if we go ahead and just drop down here, let's undo theater mode so we can actually see what tool we have in our hand. They will then flow down inside of here. This part of the farm is going to help them in being pushed all the way down inside of here. Now they're going to gather up in number right here, so we're going to toss down a chest. Inside that chest we're going to have a hooper hopper, and then on both sides of this one hooper hopper we'll have another hooper hopper that will shoot into it. So then we have something of a system going on. Now what I want to do real quick is I'm going to have to make yet again another crafting chest table, so then I don't have to keep running up and out of this farm area. So let's go ahead and make some trapdoors. I know I have the crafting assistant open at the moment, but well, I have no excuse really to try and justify this. So what we're then going to do is, I actually have iron on me too. You could use, if you don't have the iron and you want to use glass panes, then I suppose you can go ahead and do so. But I kind of forgot to take some sand and smelt it in the glass so then I could turn them into panes. So that's why I'm going to make iron bars here. But like I said, if you want to and if you're able to, then go ahead and use the glass panes. But we're just going to go ahead and clear up this area right here. So this is going to be our, I don't want to say our AFK room, because we are going to have to do some manual labor in killing the spiders once they drop down here. But what we're then going to do is we're going to place down slabs, throw down some trapdoors, and then right here is where we're going to actually hollow this out, and then we'll place down some iron bars. Again, if you want to, if you're able to, I recommend that you go ahead and use the panes. And actually what I want to do is I want to push this back closer, I think, to the chest here. So let's just go ahead and do this real quick, and then we want to do something like that, and then we'll do something like this. And then from here all we have to do is have a sword, preferably with sweeping edge 3, so then we can get as many spiders as we can in one shot. And then we can just go whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. And I hear a spider. I'm not a spider, a witch, and I'm not entirely where she is at. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to begin to dump the water, knock out the torches, and let's see how this farm works out. As you can tell by looking at your screen here, the master volume is set to 70%, and the hostile creatures is set to 5%. And if you may be able to look past the gray boxes that you see here and you actually look at what's going on in the background, you'll see that we have a few 8-legged freaks just staring us down. So let's just go ahead and hit the exit key. And would you look at all of those spiders, peeps? Holy tomato. Now, I do have on me my good diamond sword that has looting 3, unbreaking 3, and sharpness 5. And I do think that sharpness 5 does do a little more damage to spiders than a diamond sword without any enchantment on it. But what I would like to get next is a diamond sword that has looting 3, but Bane of Arthropods, and the highest tier level of it. So let's just go ahead and begin to slay these beasts. And real quick, I want to point out that Okay, there are mob drops that are sitting right there, and they are not supposed to be doing that. They're supposed to be falling into the hooper hoppers and going into that double chest there. But I'll fix that off camera. Don't you worry, peeps. But the one thing I want to just quickly point out is that in the previous segment, we had pushed this cobblestone wall, well, the cobblestone slabs with the trapdoors back by 1 block, and that is not actually what I wanted to do. I wanted to keep them right where they were originally, so I did just that. But we have right here these iron bars, and they are to help prevent the spiders from actually being able to hurt us while we stand here. However, I think it's sort of interfering with how I'm able to actually do the slaying. So I'm going to remove them, stand on both of these blocks right here on the seam, on that little line. I'm not sure how well you can see it. And we're just going to shift click and okay, we're somewhat hitting them. That's okay. Let's stand right here on this block space entirely. And oh my, okay. So I'm a little worried that if I stand on this block space, the spiders will actually be able to hit me here. But oh, look at that. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. We got it. Let's just go ahead and knock that out. We got the spider head. Woo! Alright, mission accomplished. Well then, all I have to do now is continue to get some more string from these guys, and then I'll be able to make as much wool as I want. This is going to probably, for the time being, be more efficient than rounding up sheep and then just breeding them and shearing them and such. Because we can just take 4 pieces of string and convert them into wool blocks. And then from there, I can dye them to whatever I want them to be. Also, I'm starting to notice that the spiders are just continuously coming, so what I may have to do is set up some type of redstone system that we can have a lever, and when we flick it on, then up above where the farm is at, some lights will turn on, which will prevent the spiders from spawning, and then when we want to get the experience along with the mob drops, we can flick the lever off, and that will turn off the lights in the big, well, not in the big, but in the small chamber room that is just above us. So to prevent death from occurring on camera here, I'm going to go ahead and just back away and have some carrots so I can begin to restore my health. But for the most part, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for creating our small spider farm. Now, what I want to do real quick before we go ahead and wrap things up for this episode is I'm just going to quickly run up through here, and then I want to take a look at our cacti and reed farm that, again, the design is from the Noobs. Be sure to check him out along with his video. So, okay, we have 2 in tall reeds right there, whereas the rest are just 1. We have 2 reeds right there, but if we go ahead and check out our chest, we have 16 reeds and 14 cacti. I'll take that. That's 16 reeds and 14 cacti more than what I originally had. So I think the next few farms that I want to create here in our industrial area is going to be 1, a tree farm, and 2, a villager breeder, and 3, just because we're going to have a villager breeder, why not go ahead and create an iron farm? But I think that's going to do it now for this episode, ladies and gentlemen. As always, if you enjoyed the video, then be sure to leave a like. And if you're new to the channel, then I encourage you to check out the rest of it. But don't forget to turn on notifications when subscribing. That way you will then be notified when future Minecraft and other gameplay content is uploaded from yours truly, Vanillaraccoon. But I would like to wish you all a happy day, and peace out.